Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Before I go on, let me know in the comments below if my mic is working, because last time I was speaking for 4 minutes before I realized it wasn't. So yeah, put it on the chat, guys, if it is working. I think it should be, but just want to make sure. So someone, please confirm that before I speak any more. Just gonna see if the chat is gonna confirm that. In the meantime, I see a lot of you guys have connected. Someone is saying, let's see, Maximus1318 Able saying, hey man, maybe you should keep the mic problems every time it happens, they win the next game. Loud and clear, it's working. Nice. That's what I like to see. Finally, a smooth start and a smooth Napoli, guys. 6 wins out of 6, and the best part about it is that I don't even think this is our final form yet. This is a team that still has a long way to go. They can improve so much still, and it's, they won this game without really having to put the foot on the gas, and you'll see that on the player ratings. In fact, I'm gonna go straight to the player ratings, guys, this time, because I think this is a reflection of just how difficult it was for us, and the answer is not too much. I mean, a comfortable 2-0 win, and no one really played, the best game of their lives. Yes, Osimhen was good. Maybe Ruiz played his best game in a long time, but really there was no need to push too much. Anguissa and Fabian, they had a monumental game in midfield, but again, they didn't have to push too hard. They just did what comes natural to them. So yeah, I mean, it just shows, I guess, how good of a team we are, because we're not relying on individual performances anymore. Last season, when we used to win games, we used to really rely on players having a 7.5, 8, 8.5 out of 10 performance. Right now, we don't really need to. And Girish Kumar Spina, NA, for sure he didn't even make a save. Yeah, I mean, when I was making these ratings, I mean, I can't really judge the guy based off 1 or 2 passes that he did. I mean, we all know he's capable of doing that in his sleep, so no need to really do that. And yeah, it just shows how comfortable it was for us. There was no need to do much, except us. Obviously, Osimhen played a key part in today's game, so he's going to be rewarded with a 7.5. And I thought Rui, both defensively and going forward, he was on it. He was solid. So that's the player ratings. There's not really that much more to add. You've got the people on the bench. Lozano, Elmas, Petagna, Unas, everybody came on and made an impact. And you know what? Credit to them. They kept it interesting for the last 20 minutes. There was really no need to. The game was done. Cagliari was done. They're finished. They're going to get relegated, is my prediction. I said it at the start of the season in my season preview. I think I put Salernitana, Cagliari, and Spezia. So far, it does seem like Cagliari and Salernitana are struggling the most, and yeah, they were finished. But Elmas came on, Lozano came on, Unas came on. They all kept it interesting, and they tried to get a goal. They tried to, keep the tempo up, and that's because that's what you should be doing. You should be keeping it at a minimum level throughout, because you never know if Cagliari did end up scoring, then it's hard to switch back on. But they kept the ignition going, and we saw it through. Let's see what people are saying. Daniel Bowen saying, nice trim, Dom. Oh, thank you, man. Let's see. Yeah, I resaw the stream last time, and I think my beard was too strong, so I had to trim that down a little bit. Let's see what else we're saying. Can't see Elmas starting over Zielinski, says Maximus. Yeah, Elmas, look, he didn't have that good of a game. Neither did Zielinski. It's just like an average game. But I would always pick Zielinski at the moment until Elmas can prove to me that he's gonna have an outstanding game, then yeah, that's his spot on the bench. He's not really making a difference. Hasn't got an assist yet. Hasn't got a goal yet. Zielinski assist today, goal last week. So obviously I'm gonna start Zielinski whenever the game is important. He probably will get a chance to start though in the Europa League game, which is coming up next. Shmuel M is saying, I managed to watch this game and witness that Zambo's on a different level. What an absolute bargain. Zambo has been probably the signing. Look, guys, I'm gonna exaggerate here. Maybe I'm gonna say Zambo's been the signing of the summer, just in any league, because I think this Napoli team would not have won 6 out of 6 games if it wasn't for Zambo. First off, we wouldn't have had even like the right number of people in midfield to play the games. But he's transformed this team. He's lifted everybody up to a different level. There's no other player right now that's new to the club that's made this level of impact across any league. Not Messi, not Ronaldo, not Zambo. He single-handedly has taken us to that next level. So yeah, let's see. Matt Marco saying, last time we got 6 out of 6, it was the 91-point season. Guys, that time we did 8 out of 8. And we still didn't win the title. I think we went 10 games unbeaten that season. But there's something about this team that even if we were to lose a game, even if we were to draw a game, this team has all the right ingredients to go practically unbeaten until the end of the season. I looked back and we haven't lost a game since February. All right, and I don't want to jinx it, but all I'm saying is that we are capable of consistently playing well, consistently getting points. I don't think there's another team out there that has got as many points as us since February last season. And why February? Because before that, we had all those injuries where we crashed out of the Europa League because we had something like 11 players only to choose from, right? We didn't even have enough subs to make. But when people started getting back from injury, then all of a sudden you couldn't beat us anymore. And people can't beat us since February. So yes, we might lose 1 or 2 here or there, but the trajectory of this team is that it's going to win or draw. Well, it's going to win most games. And when we struggle, we're going to draw. And then there's going to be a few losses probably. But I mean, you guys get what I mean. The trajectory is positive. Maximus, any news on Adiele signing Zambo permanently? Yeah, of course he will. Of course. Because you're not going to find another player of that quality for 15 million. And it's not like Adiele doesn't want to buy anyone. He's just saying, look, I think this team was good enough for reaching Champions League. Last season, we didn't do it. We should try again this year. So why would I spend more money when this team is good enough for Champions League football? On paper, we'll just add 1 or 2 players. Zambo was one of them. He could potentially lead us to something even more, but I think if we don't get Champions League football, that'd be a massive surprise. And I think with Champions League football, we get that 50, 60 million euros back in the bank, and then we can buy players like him and strengthen the squad even more. But this is a really, really strong team, guys. And not just with Spalletti, but just from since February this year. Even under Gattuso, we were a strong team. The last few months with Gattuso were incredible. We messed up against Verona, but that was basically the only game we messed up. But to get to that point, we were unbeaten since February, and it's an incredible run that we're going on. Let's see. The only one close to Zambo is Abraham with Roma. I don't think Abraham is as important to Roma as Zambo is going to be. I really don't think so. I think he's a great player, Abraham. But I think, whether you played Dzeko or Abraham, they're going to give you more or less the same amount of goals. Where with us, we're referencing from Bakayoko. So our baseline was super low, and he took it to the next level. I think with Dzeko, Roma would have scored. If they kept Dzeko, they still would have scored the same amount of goals as Abraham will do. pretty much. Girish Kumar saying Lozano needs to start, and I'm just tired of Politano's predictability. Games where teams double up on Politano, we are playing with 10 men. You know what? I agree that Lozano had a better game than Politano today, but you're being too simplistic with this. Politano, and we'll see it in the match analysis coming up, Politano goes back and defends so much more than Lozano. So when I think the game is at 0-0, I understand why Spalletti prefers to start Politano, because he's going to be able to cover a lot more. Then when the game's more opened up, and maybe we've already got a goal or two in the bag, and we don't need to defend as much, then maybe it's worth putting Lozano, because that more forward capacity that he has will make even more of a difference, and we can get that second, third, fourth goal with Lozano on the field. But when the game's tight and we've got to defend, Politano, there's a reason why he's there. And also, tactically we play differently with them, so it depends on what team you're up against. And Daniel Bowen with the $20 donation, thank you so much for always supporting the channel, Daniel. Really appreciate it. Would you dare to say a draw versus Viola could be a good thing for further preparation to win the Scudetto? Well, you know what? Let's take a look at the next games. So we've got the game against Spartak Moscow in a few days on Thursday, Europa League. And then we've got Fiorentina, then Torino, another Europa League game, and then Roma. I think we need to win against Fiorentina and Torino. They're two tough games, but we need to make it 8 out of 8. We need to. A draw is not a bad result away from home against Fiorentina, but I think we need to go into that Roma game with 8 out of 8. And if we can get a result against Roma at that point, then we're 25% into the season. Then we can really start talking about what this Napoli team can do. I saw Fiorentina. Fiorentina, look, they're a top 4 team at the moment if you look at the table, but they struggled against Udinese. They lasted only 30 minutes with Inter. So would I sign for a draw? Probably not. I think we need to go there and win. I'm almost more worried about Torino, because I feel like Juric is a very, very strong coach, and it's going to be such a tactical battle with that. The Torino game is the one I'm most worried about between them and Fiorentina, to be honest. Fiorentina, I think, are a strong team, especially at home, but they have maybe a few more points than what they deserve at the moment. They're not. I mean, that the difference between us and them in the table is the actual difference that the two teams have, and so I think we should be beating them, not comfortably, but we should be beating them. Let's see. Depol to Atleti, says Girish Kumar. I don't know. I don't think he's lifted them to a new dimension as much as Anguissa has to Napoli, to be honest with you. I mean, Atleti did win the title last season, so it's not like he's brought them to a new dimension where now they can 100% go and win the Champions League, for example. Whereas for us, Anguissa could potentially have brought us from 5th to you know what. Let's see. What else are we saying? Dom is on the money with this Poli-Chucky debate, says Matt Marco. Vetsu Oggi with Politano, Di Lorenzo has more space to go forward than with Lozano. Politano and Lozano are equally good to me. It doesn't matter who starts, they're both really good. Vetsu Oggi, I 100% agree with you. Honestly, when I take a look at that formation, right, whoever they put on the right, whether it's Politano, whether it's Unas, whether it's Lozano, I honestly do not care. I'm just like, I read it and I'm like, oh, cool. Politano is starting. The next game, oh, cool. Lozano is starting. I'm not like, oh, why is he starting? Oh, I'm sick of seeing this guy start. No, it's honestly so interchangeable, because I know that they could potentially have a really good first half And if they don't, we've got a really good backup on the bench, whichever way we look at it. Because rest assured, if Politano's not having a good game, Lozano will. And vice versa, because they're so different. So they're not exact copies of each other. So obviously, if one player like Politano's finding it super hard to break through the defense going on his left foot, then when Lozano comes on and he goes deep with his right, then that changes things up for us, and that could be the winning strategy, and vice versa. So whatever Spalletti chooses there, I think he basically picks them out of a hat, or he could be doing that, and it honestly wouldn't really matter. That's probably the one position on the field where you could put anyone and would be good. Diego Marquez is saying Ozzy and Lozano make a better duo than Politano. That's maybe true. That's maybe true. I think Lozano, Osimhen give you such depth and speed that I think when teams are playing a high line, especially, that could be a really, really dangerous thing for Napoli. When you've got, I think, teams that are sitting a bit deeper, like maybe Cagliari was, then a bit less. I think it's even. As long as Osimhen gets a good cross in, then he'll do well. For example, against Leicester, Lozano started, but then when Politano came on, Osimhen scored his 2 goals. The last goal that Osimhen did, the header, that was from a Politano cross. So it's interchangeable, honestly. Like it really is 50-50, I think, when you crunch the numbers. Daniel saying Unas starts right wing on Thursday. Yeah, I'd be super surprised if Unas didn't start. I'd be super surprised if Petagna, Unas, Elmas, all these guys didn't start. Maybe Demme might not. I don't know how fit he is. I think he might get 30 minutes of game time instead of just the 5 that he had today. So I think that maybe Anguissa and Fabian might have to do one more game, maybe both of them, before they can get a rest. I mean, this is the last game before the international break. Hopefully in the international break they actually can catch a bit of a break and not play starter. Let's see. The chat's still talking about Politano and Lozano, which is a non-problem, I think. Barone04 saying, I think Spalletti knows what he is doing. He is the coach after all. Exactly. Always like having Politano come off the bench in the second half. Yeah. And you know what? Last year, for example, they had completely different run of forms. Politano came into life towards the end of the season, but Lozano was key for us at the start of the season. So, they're going to have periods where one's going to be more informed than the other. And so I don't really know who I would say is the starter. It just depends on the moment. Cleto saying, hello, guys. Welcome to the house, Cleto. Always nice to have you around. Greenish Kumar saying, the wingers are not there to defend. Yes, it's part of their job, but if ultimately they fail flat in attack, then it's no use. Rather play Malquit on the right wing then. That is the worst take in football history, man. I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you. Man. The modern game requires attackers to defend, and it requires defenders to attack. Malquit is that is the worst take I've heard. Oh my days. I think I'm gonna issue out my first yellow card ever. If I'm gonna start preparing some yellow cards. I'm gonna start issuing them out to people that have just really bad takes on the chat. Sorry man. I have to disagree with that. Ospina didn't have one shot on goal to save. Not his fault, but we probably would have won without him. Yeah, I think we could have had Marfella in goal today, and it would have been fine. Let's go into the match analysis, guys. Let's see how this game unfolded. Not a lot of emotions in today's game, but Cagliari was never going to make it easy for us at the start when it was still 0-0, and they put a lot of pressure on the midfield. They made it really difficult for us to play out from the midfield. They pressed Anguissa, they pressed Fabian, and you can see here their positioning at the start of the game. But as the game went on, Anguissa found a really good opportunity. So you see here, Cagliari are positioned, to be honest, quite badly. They've got this line of three, which are, supposedly meant to be putting pressure on Fabian and Anguissa. Then you've got the midfield three, and Strootman, which is on the right of Zielinski. He's leaving Zielinski a bit too much room. So Zielinski goes in behind him. Strootman doesn't follow him. And then you see this pocket of space that was formed between Diego Godin and the left back, right? And Zielinski is really good at calling out the pass. He sees the space, and Anguissa puts in a great ball in behind. And Zielinski is good at, making sure the ball doesn't go out. Osimhen, with his speed, gets ahead of the central defender. And for him, it's just really an easy tap-in to score the goal. And then Politano came on and did an interview with DAZN, I think, in between the first and second half, and said Spalletti prepared this game for the midfielders to make these runs in between the center back and the left back, or the center back and the right back for Cagliari. Basically, they knew that a winning tactic would have been this long ball with Zielinski making a run, and it worked. And so credit to Spalletti. He's always on the money. Let's see what else you guys are saying. I didn't watch the game. Why NA for Ospina, says Scudetto, because he didn't do anything. He didn't have a save to make. Black Ocean 75 in the second half. There was confusing on attack passes on. In the second half, there was confusing on attack passes on. Was my idea. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Black Ocean. Some of your grammar here is frightening. It's frightening. Let's see. Anguissa was extremely pivotal in this match. Looks like he is gaining confidence on the ball. Happy to see. Worried about Zielinski. Has not caught form. Can't keep his shots low. He needs more confidence. Mattias Bifani. That's an interesting take on Zielinski. I thought he was okay. Had a goal against against Sampdoria in the last game. Had an assist today. Made some good runs. He's not the Zielinski of last year yet, 100%. There's a lot of players that still need to find their form, but I wouldn't say he's a problem. And he is gaining slightly more and more confidence and fitness, I would say, rather, every time. A lot of it has to do with fitness, guys. So you have to think that when you are playing at 100% fitness, you are that 0.5 of a second faster at everything you do, whether that's controlling the ball, setting up for your shot, executing. When you don't, and that 0.5 is so, for anyone that's played football, that 0.5 is so critical. When you're not at 100% fitness, right, you're that 0.5 slower, which means you don't set yourself up as nicely for shots, and that's why sometimes they go out, they go over. It's all to do actually with your physical fitness at times, because we all know that these players are capable, like players like Zielinski are capable of hitting the target blindfolded with their weak foot. If they don't consistently, it's probably down to fitness, where they're missing that half a second because they got to rush it because the defender's coming in or something like that. So yeah, I think it's a lot to do with fitness still, just based off my personal experience of when I used to play. Barone04 saying, I was right about Manolas not starting. Been a long time. Actually, he's slow and past his prime. One thing about Manolas, guys, is that I think he's lost. I think if we look at this formation, Koulibaly, Rahmani are definitely going to be the starting pair in the long term for Napoli. Manolas was supposed to leave, not supposed to, but there was rumors of him leaving this summer. That didn't go through because we couldn't find a good replacement. But I think the long-term ambition of this club is to keep Rahmani on and this summer get rid of Manolas. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rahmani stays. And I posted on Twitter in between the first and second half, Rahmani made 72 passes in the first half, 100% pass accuracy. The next player on the field after him was Fabian with 48 passes. Rahmani 72, Fabian 48. And not all passes were sideways or to Ospina. A lot were going forward. A lot were quite risky passes. And that is so key for how this Napoli team plays. It is now a few games that he's been starting, and Napoli have been not conceding goals. 4-0 against Udinese, 4-0 against Sampdoria, 2-0 now against Cagliari, and we've been scoring a lot. And, that starts from the defense. That starts from them setting up the play really nicely, and credit to Rahmani for helping us do that. Niels1502, see, greetings from the Netherlands. You did Petagna wrong with that image. Yo, that's not me. That's not me, man. That's him. That's him smiling like that. Not the most flattering of angle, I must say. Seems like the camera was a bit underneath him. But he's our boy. He's our boy Petagna. So let's go back into the analysis. As Stream Elements is reminding guys in the chat, if you're liking the video, go ahead and smash the like button, because if you smash the like button, Napoli keeps on winning. So anyways, guys, once we got the goal, Napoli were dominating. The game was pretty much over at that point. We were running around Cagliari. I mean, look at Strootman here trying to. I think that's Strootman. But I mean, he's all over the place. He hasn't got his footings right. He couldn't handle the 1-2s that Napoli were doing. No one in the Cagliari team could. We were playing so much in between the lines. Fabian, Zielinski, Fabian, Osimhen, Insigne, Zielinski, all these things. It was honestly really nice to watch, and it didn't feel like Napoli were trying too hard. In fact, there was a lot of maybe ways we could have done better if we were a bit more, pressing, if we were a bit more pushed for trying to get a goal. But it just seemed like we were just having fun out there. And apart from that, we were recovering the ball so much, guys. I mean, this is Insigne on the right wing after a corner trying to recover a ball. Then we've got Fabian. Then we've got another opportunity here right outside the Cagliari box. And if you take a look at this is where we recovered the ball through tackles at the end of the first half. Look how many are not just inside the Cagliari half, but look how many are inside the final third. So not around the midfield. Okay, there's one in our side, but most of them are in Cagliari's own third. So we were pressing super high. We were recovering the ball very quickly whenever we lost it. And that's why Napoli are such a machine this year. It is so difficult to play against Napoli, because they will go and get the ball back from you super fast, super high up the field. And this is just the times when we tackled. Then there's other times when we intercepted the passes. And there's times, when Cagliari made mistakes of their own. So if you add all those times up, that's how many times possession changed over in Cagliari's half. And it was just so much in the first half. Cagliari just could not leave their half. Let's see what else some of the comments are saying. Nick F, any center backs you're interested in seeing replace Manolas? Yes. There is one. He plays in Holland, actually. So maybe our friend Niels knows something about him. But the Argentinian Senesi. I think that's how you say his name. But he's really good. He's really good. He's young. He's good. He's strong. I would go for him, to be honest. But let's see how this season goes ahead. There could be some revelation that comes up. Um, and yeah, I think it won't be too difficult to replace Manolas. He's been all right. He's not been instrumental. I think if we need to sacrifice Manolas, for 15, 10 million next year, let's do it. He's got 4 million of salary. It's all right. Let's see. Maximus1318 Abel saying anything they can do about the giveaways. I'm not sure what you are talking about there. Zambo is man of the match for me, says Shackman. Zambo has been, if not the best, probably, top 3 on the field every single game he's played. I think today Osimhen did a better job. So I will say that Osimhen, I think, is man of the match. Mario Rui, I thought, played tremendously well as well. Talking about Mario Rui, last time on the stream, I went on a bit of a rant about how left backs and right backs should be close to the center backs when crosses come in. That's how you defend. And I was saying that because a lot of people were criticizing Di Lorenzo for the goal he conceded against England, for the goal he conceded in the first game against Genoa, or was it Genoa? Yes, or one of the games against Genoa. It wasn't the first one, I think it was the second game. And then the goal that we conceded against Leicester, how he was too central and not really far enough wide. Guys, Mario Rui is showing you why you need to stay central. You see the first guy that's circled centrally. You don't want to leave him one-on-one against Koulibaly if a cross comes in, for so many reasons, because Koulibaly needs to make a decision. Am I going to go ahead of this guy? Am I going to go... If you were to leave him one-on-one, Koulibaly has to decide, is the ball going to come in front of me? Is the ball going to come behind us? Is the ball going to go towards Ospina? Is the ball going to go towards, pulled back? That's a lot of different directions that Koulibaly might need to take. And, if he chooses the wrong one, then that striker is going to be able to shoot on goal, right? Whereas if you've got Mario Rui in support, because Rahmani is doing his own thing, if you've got Mario Rui in support, then whatever Koulibaly does, Mario Rui does the opposite. So if Koulibaly goes front post, Mario Rui stays a bit back. If Koulibaly goes towards Ospina, then Mario Rui stays back for the pullback. So you need 2 people, ideally, on that one striker coming in. Because how many times have we seen strikers make a movement and free themselves? They get that yard of space, they free themselves from the center back, right? So you ideally want to have 2 people on there. And when a cross comes in to the second post, as the left back or the right back, you should have enough time to recover. And Mario Rui proved it. He got there in time, and he recovered. So the only reason why Di Lorenzo wasn't able to recover is because those times that the ball was coming in, it came in extremely quick. But when it comes extremely quick, it's also so much harder to score. So he was actually super unlucky that people scored on him like that. But I swear, 9 times out of 10, you're either going to get to the ball, or if the striker gets to the ball, he's going to sky it. So you should stay tight. Obviously not too tight, but tight enough. So I hope that makes sense for everyone. And following on from that, in the second half, you see that Di Lorenzo here intercepts a really, really important ball. And look where he is. Central. Look where he is. The reason he is able to do that is because Politano, who Girish Kumar was criticizing, is because Politano was coming back to defend. If Politano wasn't coming back to defend, then guess what? They would have played the ball, Cagliari would have played the ball to the far post, and then people would have said, oh, Di Lorenzo is out of position. But it's not that Di Lorenzo is out of position. Di Lorenzo is exactly where he should be, because Politano is exactly where he should be as well. But as a standard practice, the fullbacks need to stay relatively central, and they should not worry about the other team's right back or left back. That should be the wingers tracking back, and this is why Politano is so useful. Lozano does this to a lesser extent. He doesn't go all the way back into the box as much as Politano, even though he does do that quite a few times. Sorry. Let's see. What else the comments are saying. Zambo's the man of the match. Yeah, we already said that. Daniel saying first sub should coming closer to the 60th when 2-0 up on a weak side. Yeah, the subs today were a bit slow, I would say. There was no reason to keep such a strong team on for so long. I think we had it in the bag. Let's see. Galatasaray's Marcao is a pretty good option as well to replace Manolas. Didn't that guy have like an 8-match ban for headbutting someone? I don't know. What would you say is Napoli's biggest weakness giving the ball away? I don't think so. I think our pass accuracy is super high. I think we have given the ball away a few times and it has cost us, like against Leicester. But it's one of those things that you've got to take the risks. Otherwise, if you're not playing those risky passes, then you risk being very, very stale. So it's a bit of a compromise, and I think we're not too bad at it. Whenever we play against other teams, I always feel like they give the ball away much more than we do. So I wouldn't say we're bad at it. But it's something that we can always improve, obviously. Roberto Longo says, I understand the space up top was sometimes very tight, but there was just a bit of reluctancy to take a shot from some. Highbury 10, why didn't Arsenal buy Osimhen? Where did they find them? Dang, fantastic striker, he has it all. I cannot believe an Arsenal fan is saying that. Honestly, man, you took Pepe from us, you took Gabriel from us, and they were both from Lille. Same as Osimhen. It's on the same team, dude. Like, whoever was Arsenal scout had the starting 11 on the piece of paper, and there was Osimhen's name right there all the time. So, yeah, I mean, you guys picked the wrong guy. You guys picked Pepe. I think Osimhen's on a different level compared to Pepe. But, like, I can't believe Arsenal are complaining. Out of all the teams, Arsenal does not need to complain about that, man. Get out of here, man. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's really weird how Arsenal and Napoli always have the same transfer targets. It's almost like you guys are, like, I don't know, copying us or something. Yeah, we finally got the man ahead of you guys. Let's see. Victor Sani, since Osimhen wins most duels, why don't the defenders play long balls over the top immediately after recovering the ball in defense? Well, I mean, we do that a few times, but there's so many other occasions where, you know, you can't always be doing that. I mean, Osimhen, you know, imagine if you did that all the time. Osimhen can't keep that up for 90 minutes, so you've got to be productive in when you do it. You know, I'd rather they do it 5 times in a game, and all 5 times are really, really good times, rather than try it 15 times and 10 times like Osimhen is like nowhere near gonna get the ball and you've just made him run for nothing. I think we have a good mix, honestly. I think we send him long quite a few times. I would say it's enough, to be honest. I mean, the guy's got to rest, you know. But it's not even about that anymore. Osimhen today showed something that he didn't show before. Osimhen today up against one of the strongest center backs in the last 10 years in world football, Diego Godin. This guy is a monster. This guy's insanely good playing with his body, right? And Osimhen gets the ball. It's not in the space. He controls it, puts his body between himself and the ball, and look at where he is. Look at his starting position, and he just protects the ball with his arms, with his shoulders. Look at that arm. Protects it. Perfect. This is every kid watching this, you know, needs to take notes. Look at how he protects the ball with his knees. He puts his leg in the right position with his arms, his shoulders. Every piece of his body is in the right position for Godin to not have a chance to touch the ball. And then finally, a little bit of trickery, and Godin slide tackles and sends him down. But this is a fantastic bit of play by Osimhen. This is, man, like it's so basic. It's one of those things that they tell you when you're first starting to play. You know, protect the ball with your body, but it is so hard to do. It is so hard to do against someone like Godin as well. But he did that fantastically well, and that's something that I've not really seen Osimhen do in the past. He's struggled a lot with that. This is the first time he's pulled it off, and if he is able to keep doing this, then he really is becoming a very, very, very complete striker. Because if he can combine strength with speed, then all he's missing is that little bit of technique, and then he'd be the most complete striker, honestly. So let's see some of the comments. Since Osimhen winning a penalty over Godin was like, wow, it takes a lot of skill to outfox a defender who's been playing Champions League football for 10, 15 years. I can't believe Osimhen's strength. He is our ideal point man. Hold up play supreme. Yeah, 100% agree with you guys. Call me biased, but Napoli have the most attractive style of play in all of Italy. A bit of a southern flair. Yeah, I mean, this is a fun team to watch. It's a fun team to watch, guys. And, today was less fun, and that's fair enough. They have just played their 6th game in the league, 2 in the Europa League. We have not had a change of personnel in the midfield. So, it wasn't going to be champagne football, but it was still very good football. And this team, as I said, they've still got levels to go. There's still so much they can do, in my opinion. But we'll see if we get to that level. Charles Amadi is saying he's a beast. He will give Napoli a lot, and he can defend. I have not seen Napoli play good football like this in years. That's a good point, Charles. Part of why I gave Osimhen such a good rating is because of his defending. I mean, defending does not mean in our box, but the way he was running around. There was one point where he pressed the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper passed it to Godin. He went and ran after Godin. Godin passed it back to the goalkeeper. He went back to the goalkeeper. Then, he was just all over the field. And it was 2-0. And I was like, man, this is like watching a kid on a playground. I mean, he just always wants the ball. He always wants to run. It's fantastic to watch. And I think, actually, it could be one of his weaknesses as well. Because he needs to, maybe not now that he's young and fit, but as he gets older, I think he needs to be a bit more selective about what type of runs he makes. Ibra, for example, is so good at that. He doesn't sprint, for 20 minutes, but then when he needs to sprint, he's the fastest guy on the field. And he's reaching 40, pretty much, because he saves his energy. Messi as well. Messi, he just kind of walks around on the field, doesn't do anything. And then when the right opportunity comes, he's going 100% and no one can keep up. Because everyone's always at that 80%. And then you can't keep up with someone's 100. So I think Osimhen, over time, as he gets older and as the season drags on and, tiredness starts to kick in, he needs to try to identify when it's the right moment to strike. And this kind of plays into what I was saying before about we can't always send long balls to Osimhen. We need to save his energy as well. Let's see. And then Insigne scored the penalty. Cragno got a hand to it, but he was never saving that. And then there was this moment here. This was the moment of the game for me. Long ball to Insigne, and from his control, he nutmegs the player in front of him. I mean, this is the highest quality of technique that you'll see this weekend. Honestly, this was incredible. I mean, I wish they showed more replays of this because it was just absurd. It was filthy. It was absolutely filthy. And this guy, he should have just hung up his boots, retired, walked off the field because, man, it's crazy, man. This guy has a family, and we saw him get destroyed like that. It's tough. It's tough. It must be tough for him. But Insigne is just another level, just another level. And Napoli, they kept attacking. 2-0, 25 minutes to go. We kept attacking. Look how many people in the box. Look at Fabian. Look at Fabian's position up there, still wanting a goal. And this is what I really like about this Napoli team this year. We never stop. That's why we won 4-0 twice in a row. And Anguissa could have had a goal. Lozano could have had a goal. Petagna could have had a goal. And as I said, the subs came on, Unas and Petagna, and they did their thing. They tried getting a goal. They try to keep the game fun for us. And they're honestly trying to prove to Spalletti that they deserve a bit more time on the field, and it's the right attitude to have. No one came on thinking, oh, it's already 2-0. I'm just, gonna try to not get injured, and I just don't feel it. No, they were feeling it. They were feeling it, and it's great for us to have a team like that. So, let's see. Do we need to have a moment of silence for him? Says Maximus. Yeah, probably. I mean, that guy, feel bad for him, honestly. But yeah, the stats show what a dominant performance it was by Napoli. 92% pass accuracy. Normally, when it's so high like that, it means that you didn't take that many risks. In this case, it was actually just that Cagliari gave us a lot of space to pick people out, and the game was done in 60 minutes. So the last 30 minutes we were just passing the ball around. It's hard to mess up when you're doing that, so that's why the pass accuracy is so high. Yeah, I mean, 17 shots, 7 on target, possession 70%, double the amount of passes, more than double. It was just a one-sided game. There was no competition from Cagliari today, and okay, they had one shot on target, so maybe Ospina did have to make a save, but I honestly don't remember it, and it's probably one of those shots on target that actually doesn't really count. And this is the table, guys, right here. This is Cagliari, 19th, 2 points only, so it would have been a huge upset if we didn't win today. And then my bottom three, as I predicted, were Salernitana, Cagliari, Spezia, but we've got Venezia right now. They do have a game in hand, so I think I'm nailing the bottom three from my season predictions, which is it's actually pretty tough to do. It's pretty tough to nail the bottom three. Let's see if I get it right at the end of the season. But this is the type of this is where us Napoli fans are interested in, the upper half of the table. Let's start here. We've got 8 points over Juve. Juve winning their last 2 games, but struggling in both of them, I would say. Not easy wins, and Dybala has gone off injured for them. So I wonder what's gonna happen with Juve. Atalanta play Milan next. I think in this case we need to hope for Atalanta to win. We're 7 points clear of Atalanta. It's not the most comfortable cushion to have, considering that we need to still secure top 4 still. But if we are looking at, okay, potentially we're fighting with Inter and Milan for something greater than top 4, then yes, let's have Atalanta pick up some good points against Milan. Lazio have come back. They were sitting with 8 points before they won the derby against Roma, an entertaining game. So now we're 7 points clear of Lazio and 6 points clear of Roma. Roma we play against in 3 games time, and Inter drew 2-2 against Atalanta. So lots of teams losing points here and there, but the interesting one is Milan Atalanta in the next one, guys. Let's see. how was Anguissa not already at a big Champions League team? It is actually crazy, Anguissa. But, he did play at Villarreal. And then Fulham brought him back from his loan over there. So, big teams around Europe did know about Anguissa. It's just that he has a very high salary. Let's not forget that Fulham are paying half his salary. So, yeah, it's... I wouldn't say it's very high. It's only 3 million euros. But, he is an important player. Fulham obviously recognize he's an important player. So, yeah. But I feel you. And he's still young. So I think he's 24 or 25. Lorenzo Libuti, welcome to the stream, my man. Roma zero titoli. You gotta love a bit of Mourinho jokes. I cannot wait for our game against Roma. I've got so much Mourinho content that I think in the week leading up to that, guys, you better be following official Napoli Talk on Instagram, because I'll be posting, if not every day, every 2 days, probably like 5 times a day, because I've got so much Mourinho content, so much. I've been waiting for this Roma Napoli game for so long. I can't wait to make some memes about it, and honestly, it's one of those things that it's good to have characters like him in Italy, back in Italy. I think we've got some of the best managers right now. We've got Sarri, Mourinho, Pioli, Gasperini, Inzaghi. We're obviously Spalletti, Allegri. Honestly, we're just missing Conte. Don't you dare say Ancelotti. Anyone who says Ancelotti, I'm gonna ban you from my chat. Let's see. If you watch all of Napoli games and compare the opponents against other teams, you see how good Napoli are right now. The Sampdoria game was totally one-sided. Juve struggled against Sampdoria. Yep. Even the Sampdoria game was one-sided in the second half. In the first half, to be fair, Sampdoria, if it wasn't for Ospina's good saves, they could have probably pulled one back. And then who knows how that game would have gone. But you never feel as though Napoli can't win a game. I mean, even against Juventus, we were losing 1-0, and I was super calm. I just felt that we were going to be able to turn it around. I wouldn't say I was super calm, actually, now that I think back about it. But, I was confident. We were going to have a good game, even though we were losing at that point. Osimhen is one of the best strikers in Italy at the moment, says Jovita or Jovita, probably Jovita, Osas TV. Man, he's probably one of the best strikers in Europe at the moment, not just Italy. Top goal scorer in Europe right now, considering all competitions. 6 goals, 2 in the Europa League, 4 in Italy. I think only Benzema has as many as him. So definitely a great run of form. Lorenzo Libuti, can I have 5 seconds? That's a classic. That's a classic Mourinho quote over there. I know my Mourinho quotes. So yeah, I can't wait to post them on official Napoli Talk, guys. So make sure you are following that Instagram for the memes. Victor Sani, Anguissa is very good. I just think he should improve a little bit on his decision making, especially on when to release the ball. Yeah, it's hard to say that because I think the first goal that we scored, if we go back to this moment in the game, this was Anguissa that made the right pass for Zielinski. So he's definitely, not bad at it, but yes, that's not his main strength. His passing is not his main strength. It's more about just being at the right place at the right time. So if there is one thing he can improve, yeah, for sure, let's make it his passing. I think his shooting also should improve. He's not really got the confidence, in my opinion, to take on shots. He's had one today and it went wide, but there were like 2 or 3 other occasions where I feel like he could have had a goal, or not a goal, but he could have had a shot and just decided not to. So yeah. Lorenzo saying, congrats to Napoli, beautiful football from a Juventus fan. I know that's a lie. I know. Guys, Lorenzo's a good friend of mine. I know he's not a Juve fan. Um, so yeah, I can't believe you're actually pretending to be a Juve fan. Blue Line says, I'm still waiting to see Mertens and Gulam play again, although the other players play really well. It is also nice to see Demme play today. Yeah, Demme came back a lot earlier than expected, guys. I mean, it's still September, and I thought we were going to see him, late October. That's what the doctors were saying. But miracles happen. Modern day science, guys. It's mad. It's mad what these doctors can do. But yeah, Mertens on the bench was nice to see. Obviously, he didn't get minutes, and rightly so, because last time we rushed him last season, he got injured against Inter. We rushed him back, and then he got injured like the next game. So let's not do that. He's too important of a player when he's fit. Let's, until we need him. If there was no need to bring him on, then don't bring him on. If we needed to score, then maybe it would have been worth a gamble for 5 minutes, because you never know. But otherwise, let's just wait until after the break. Maybe give him 10 minutes against Spartak Moscow, and that's about it. So that, I think, answers your question, Black Ocean, about when Mertens will play. Was that the first time we see Grassi play against Napoli? Can't remember. No, we've seen him play against Napoli with Parma a few times for sure, and against Atalanta, and with Atalanta. Grassi was an ex-Napoli player, had a lot of potential. We bought him when he was quite young, never really became the player that we thought he would become. A little late to the stream, says Zen ED or Zen Ed. Welcome to the house. Fabian and Victor looked exhausted towards the end of the game. Hope they get much needed rest in the next Europa League game. Yeah, it's one of those things that I noticed as well. Well, Fabian always looks exhausted. I think he runs so much in every game, but he's got very good recovery, I think. And I think Spalletti also mentioned that one time, and Victor as well. I mean, he sprints a lot every single game. So, he's going to be knackered, and he's played practically 90% of every single game so far, and we need to make sure that we keep him fit, and he needs to make sure he's not running after every single ball all the time. But let's see what Napoli are saying in the press conference, what Spalletti are saying in the press conference. Going to get a bit of water to prepare for this. So let's see. They say 6 out of 6 victories, and there's a lot of enthusiasm with this team. There wasn't really a game, is what the journalist said. There wasn't really competition, even though Mazzarri is saying that Cagliari was in it. And Spalletti says, look, I don't need to comment on what Mazzarri is saying. I just need to analyze what my own team did. We never had confusion in the game. We always had control. We always found the right moment and waited for the right moment to hurt them. Sometimes, you can wait for the right moment, and other times you can go and look for it. Maybe that's something we could have done a bit more. We could have gone and looked for the opportunity a bit more. But the game was always in control, and we won with merit, and I have to agree with that. Let's see. They asked him about Osimhen, who got a yellow card for diving, and they asked him if Osimhen was a bit angry about that, and he says, actually, Osimhen asked to be subbed. We should have actually subbed him off before that. Could have also not been a yellow card. It's not like he actually simulated. There was a bit of a tug, so maybe it's a bit harsh to give him a yellow card. It's not like he wanted to fool the referee. He just felt he just felt a hand on him and went down. Basically, he is incredible athletically, is what Spalletti is saying. He's able to do 3-4 sprints of 20 meters, and he's very, very, very important for this team. Is he a top player? They ask him, and he says he's got a lot of improvements to make, but there's a lot of things that in football you still got to learn, but he's got that natural talent. So yeah, They ask him about how many teams he thinks are fighting for the Scudetto, and whether it's still the 7 teams that Spalletti keeps talking about. And he's basically saying, yeah, there's still 7 teams that could win it. So very, very open about us being in the contention for the title. But he's not saying we're favorites. He's saying, look, we're in contention, but there's another 6 teams. They ask him about if he's going to change the team around in the Europa League, and he's saying, yes, we probably should do. Zielinski, for example, is one that needed to play because he was injured before and needed to find some form. There's no need for him to rest, but there's some other situations that we need to look at. We play on Thursday, and then or in the past we played on Thursday and then we have to play again on Sunday, so it was difficult. But now, we've got this game on Thursday where we can allow some people to rest. And then they ask him, did you expect this Napoli team to go 6 games unbeaten? And he's saying, look, I honestly could not wait to start my career with Napoli. I knew that they were and basically, I couldn't wait to start because I needed to see if they were actually as good as they looked from outside. And when I came in, I had that confirmed, that they are actually as good as they look from the outside. We had some problems in a few areas of the field, but we were very good at fixing those problems. And they're a very, very good group in terms of friendship between the players. They are a very united group, and you see that in the training sessions and outside of the training sessions, and that's key for the team's growth. And they ask him, are you looking at the table? And he's saying, well, more than looking at the table, we're looking at the next games. Every game is an occasion to bring home some points, and it's the sum of all the games that make the moment important. It's obvious that winning helps you a lot, and it reduces a lot of stress. He's saying we already lost this year against Benevento, which was our 5-1 loss at home in a friendly game. It did actually create a lot of anxiety, or not anxiety, but it did shock the team a little bit, and that was probably a good thing for the team. And he was saying basically how he doesn't want to see a repeat of that. Basically, how even if it was a training session friendly game, he doesn't like to see Napoli play like that, like they did against Benevento, and they learned from those mistakes and from that occasion. So maybe that was a good thing that we had that game. So I guess we're thankful we didn't get rid of Fabian and Koulibaly and didn't sign Emerson, says Maximus. Maybe Emerson, we should have still signed them. But yeah, definitely glad we kept Fabian and Koulibaly. I sincerely hope Napoli doesn't end up like Inter 2 years ago, burning out after the winter break. That is maybe going to happen, or it's maybe not going to happen. Who knows? But we've never really had that issue at Napoli with these players. We've always the actual winter break has always been tough for us. I would say the months of January, December have been always tough. But then we've always had a strong second half of the season. It's always been that middle bit that's actually cost us. We always start well. Then it gets difficult in the middle, and then we finish well. At least that's how I remember it. Anyways, guys, we've got a game on Thursday. So let's make sure we tune in for that one. And 6 out of 6. Perfect start. And I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. Hope you guys had a great weekend. And wish you guys a really good week. And to see you guys again against Spartak Moscow after that game. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre.